It's almost time. Time for what? Time for Miss Melinda's Bible story time. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. Good evening, I love you. Good evening to all of my Storytime friends. I'm so happy you could join me this evening as we continue our journey through the Little Children's Bible. And tonight, we're going to learn more about Joseph. Our first story is Joseph and the Colorful Coat. And this story comes to us from Genesis chapter 37. Isaac had a son named Jacob. Jacob grew up and had 12 sons. Joseph was his favorite. One day, Jacob gave him a colorful coat. This made the other brothers jealous. Do you think that your mom and dad has a favorite child sometimes? Well, I'm here to tell you, Miss Melinda has 2 children, and you want to know something? They're both my favorites. Everybody is mom or dad's favorite at a different time, and that's okay. It's important to not be jealous of your brothers and sisters because everyone gets good things when it's their own turn and in their own time. So it was nice that Joseph got a colorful coat from his dad, but it wasn't very fair of his brothers to be jealous. Have you ever had a dream? What did you dream about? What do you dream about, friend? That's very interesting. One night, Joseph dreamed the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him as if he were a king. His older brothers did not like this. We'll never bow down to you. Joseph told his brothers about his dream, and they saw themselves like the stars that bowed to him, and they said, "No, no." Joseph went to check on his brothers who were watching over the sheep. His brothers took his special coat and threw him in a well. Why would the brothers do this? Should Joseph ever forgive them? Why do you think the brothers did this? I bet you're right. I bet the brothers were feeling a little jealous because Joseph got something special, and then he kind of acted like he was better than his brothers when they told him about the dream. But just because you're jealous of someone, you can't always help being jealous. But should you hold it against them? And should you try to hurt them? Of course not. No way, Jose. Joseph's brothers shouldn't have hurt him. But do you think Joseph should forgive them? What do you think the Lord would say about it? He forgives all of us, doesn't he? And he is our judge, so we shouldn't judge other people. I wonder if Joseph is going to forgive them. Joseph's brothers sold him as a slave to Egypt, far, far away. But God was with Joseph. Slaves are not free as a kite, like you and me. Where is Joseph's coat of many colors now? I don't know. Where could his coat be? I bet they turned it into the kites. You know what? It looks like he's going to. Our next story is Joseph Forgives His Brothers from Genesis 39 to 46. Joseph worked very hard as a slave in Egypt. The man who owned Joseph put him in charge of his home and farm. Joseph worked for God and thought of him as his real master. What did you work hard at today? Are you getting ready to start back to school? We work really hard at school, don't we? But nowhere near as hard as Joseph had to work as a slave. Slavery is very, very wrong, children. No one should ever be able to own another human being. But that's exactly what happened to Joseph, and it was hard, horrible, backbreaking work. And the only way Joseph could survive was to think of the Lord and to lean on him in his time of trouble, and to think of the Lord as his true master instead of the evil man that had bought him. In Egypt, God helped Joseph see what his dream meant. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, told Joseph about a dream when 7 fat cows crossed the river. Then 7 skinny cows crossed and ate the fat cows, but they still stayed skinny. Wonder how that happened. God showed Joseph that the fat cows meant 7 good years. So Pharaoh freed Joseph and put him in charge of storing food. Even though Joseph was having a horrible hard time because he trusted in the Lord and allowed the Lord to provide for him, he brought Pharaoh along, and Pharaoh freed Joseph. After the 7 good years came 7 bad years. That's what the skinny cows stood for. Then, because it was so hard to find food, Joseph's brothers came to Egypt. They did not recognize Joseph, but Joseph recognized them. When Joseph looked into their eyes, he could not be mad at his brothers. What color are the eyes of the person reading you this story? Well, my eyes are green, and I hope that you're not mad at Miss Melinda. But do you think it was hard for Joseph not to be mad at his brothers? Sometimes it can be hard to forgive people. But when you forgive someone for doing you wrong, you are really freeing yourself. Because holding anger and a grudge at someone only hurts you. It doesn't hurt them. Joseph forgave his brothers for the mean trick they had pulled on him so long ago. God had taken care of Joseph. That was all that mattered. The brothers jumped for joy at finding each other again. Have you ever been mad at someone, friend? Did you forgive them? I hope that you show forgiveness to other people, just like the Lord wishes us to, so that you can have peace in your heart, just like Joseph. Jacob and his sons moved to Egypt to be near Joseph. Now their family was together again. When do you get to see all of your family? Many of us haven't got to be around all of our family, our cousins and aunts and uncles, and even grandparents sometimes, because of all the trouble going on in the world with the pandemic. But you know what? During these times, we need to lean on the Lord, just like Joseph leaned on him. And if we trust in God's word, he will lead us through to a time of wonderful goodness. And until that time, friends, I hope that you know that your friends at Charleston First Church of the Nazarene and Elk River Church of the Nazarene love you very, very much. And we look forward to seeing you in church very soon. Good night, friends.